So how did that shot hit? I have absolutely no idea, but I'm playing this on quarter speed just so you can see what the KV-2 could do if you don't know already. But we're on the move, we got a full server reticule, we've got nothing to shoot at. Absolutely nothing to shoot at. We take out the 3002M. Oh, KV-2, I love you. Hi folks, and welcome to the Ace Tanker for the Skoda T-25, the Tier 6 Czechoslovakian medium tank. And this is an incredibly interesting tank. In fact, this is one of the tanks that, even though it was never built, there are a lot of what-if questions floating around. Because what if this tank had been built? What if Skoda had built 6,000 of them as they promised? Would have happened during World War II, regarding tank warfare. Skoda proposed building 6,000 of these tanks and maybe supply the Hungarian and Romanian troops with Skoda T-25s, but the plan never made it to fruition. It only existed in plans, no prototype was ever built, but it is an incredibly interesting and incredibly advanced tank for its time, because in late 1941, the Russian tanks, or the German tanks that had invaded Russia, were starting to run into T-34s and KV-1s. And at that time, most of their armor was basically Skoda LTVZ-35s, LTVZ-38s, Panzer 1s, 2s and 3s. So they weren't performing very well against Russian armor. So in late 1941, Hitler basically put out a tender saying, we want a new German medium tank, and two companies were asked to supply plans to build a new medium tank. One was Daimler-Benz and the other was Maschinenfabrik Augsburg-Nürnberg, or they're known as MAN for short. The MAN design actually won the contest, and that later became the Panther. The Benz design was the VK, and that was rejected, even though a lot of people still think the VK was a better design than the Panther. But Skoda, even though they weren't invited to send a tender in for a new medium tank, did anyway, and they sent in plans for the Skoda T-25. This is an incredibly interesting, and it would have been an incredibly advanced tank for its time. We're talking late 1941, early 1942, because the tank was based around speed, mobility, it was based around sloped armor like the T-34, and it had an autoloader, which was completely unheard of on any tanks at that stage of the war. So it was an incredibly interesting and advanced tank. Unfortunately, it was rejected. The plans were rejected. In fact, the plans never even made it as far as Hitler, because German bureaucracy basically said, Skoda, you weren't invited to send a plan in the first place, so they pretty much rejected it. And even though Skoda were claiming they could build 6,000 of these tanks, and even if Germany didn't want them, they wanted to build 6,000 and provide them to Hungarian and Romanian forces and let Germany get on with its own thing in designing the Panther, it was still rejected, so it never made it off the drawing board. But this was just an incredibly interesting tank for the time period. Now, another reason it was rejected is because even though it had sloped armor, like the original plans called for, it didn't have the long barrel 75mm or the L70 that was requested that the Panther have. It used a different gun, and as I say, a very interesting 75mm that was had an autoloader, and it had a compressed air canister that would basically clear the barrel of any debris or smoke that was left over after firing a clip. So incredibly advanced, but just rejected. And if 6,000 of these had been built in 1942, as Skoda promised, I think World War II could have taken a very different direction. But as a result, or in the end, Germany decided to go with the Panther, and we all know how that ended up. So Skoda. The Skoda T-25, incredibly interesting tank for its time. But anyway, we're here. This is the first Ace Tanker, and this is another game where I've put up a few of those recently where I just didn't think it was a great game, but yet it turned into the Ace Tanker. Now I've had some really good games in this tank that were lots of first classes, and a couple of games I thought could have been aces that weren't even first classes, they were second classes, but this was the ace, and it's not an amazing game. And we are here on Fisherman's Bay. It's a tier 7 game, although there are only tier 2 7s on the other team, and it's just me going through my current World of Tanks loss streak. You know, it recovered for a week or two, and now it's back to the way it was from a couple of months ago, where I just can't pick up bloody wins no matter what I do. So we're moving up, and unfortunately our team are completely neglecting the 1-2 line. So wonderful, great team. I don't have XVM because this is another 915 replay that XVM is not working on, and it's a 915 replay that has to be played in the 914 client because the 915 games won't work in the 915 client, and it won't work in the 915.1 client either, so there may be a couple of bugs as a result, but 915.1 patch has just been a complete and utter disaster. So we're going to work here, and what you can see is the tank gets criticized for its penetration. So it gets an autoloader, you can see 110 damage, or with 132 penetration, but the penetration is actually good for its tier. Compared to other tier 6 medium tanks, the penetration is good even though it gets criticized. Very few tier 6 medium tanks are actually competitive against higher tier tanks, so the penetration is going to lack against higher tier tanks, but you know, it's still, if you know where you're shooting, and you can do a lot of damage. So you can see you've got a very fast 3-clip auto, or 3-shot autoloader. That's what I'm using here. Unfortunately, you know, it now looks as if we're going to lose the town. So I've had to relocate, and we're going to put shots in here, 2 shots into the OI. You can see that the reload is about 7 to 8 seconds here, and we're doing 110 damage a shot, which means the burst damage potential of this tank is about 303 damage every roughly 8 seconds it takes for a reload. So the DPM of the tank is actually about 1000 DPM, which, you know, is not amazing. The accuracy is not amazing. Oh, come on, KV2. Come on, KV2, I've still got 2 shots waiting for you, but yeah, it's just, this is one of these games where my team just died too quickly, and I just didn't have time to work. We've got OIs and the M6 and an OI, and the M4 have just crossed an open field straight through the middle of the map. They completely ignored enemy tanks on the 1-2 lines. So 1 bounce, 1 pen, 2 pens, so you can see how quickly you can offload shots here, but my team are just, the positioning, you know, we've got a TD, I don't know who that's, you know, sitting down behind Arty at K6. It's just, yeah, World of Tanks, and I've got an orange reticule, and this is where the penetration is lacking. We're trying to put shots through his weak spot in front, but no, we failed to, so, oh dear, it's not looking good. We've got 2 tanks now trying to cap. We're completely outnumbered. The team are losing 4-6. We've just pulled one back. That's not too bad, but just, okay, I've got side shots. 1, 2. I might take a hit here, but we take out the Type 58. So the score is 5-6. Going for the reload. Need to start killing some of these tanks. Come on, KV2. Get 1 shot in. Oh, we hit the... And we bounce our kill shot, so we really needed to kill that KV2. T-25 too. Yeah, the traverse speed of this tank is not good. And we managed to bounce 2 shots on the T-25 there. The American T-25, not the Skoda T-25. OI, got the side of an OI, 75mm of armor. We missed 1 shot, get another shot in, but I'm just running out. You know, the score is still 50-50, but we've got tanks that are trying to cap. But we can finish off the OI. And now the T-25-2 is coming up. I've still got 1 shot left, and it's a question of do I go for a reload, but the acceleration, unfortunately, is just incredibly bad. And he manages to, I think, take out my engine there, even though it set my gun, but I've just got to go. So this tank, even though it's quite fast and accelerates quite well in a straight line, unfortunately, it just has terrible traverse speed. Just like the premium Skoda T-25 for the Germans. And now I'm completely stuck. I just have no friends left because our team decided to drive into cap and just sit there while enemy tanks were decapping. And I'm stuck. I've got a T-25-2 in the buildings ahead of me. I've got an RL-44 moving in. I've got an M4 in the back corner. And I'm trying to use the wreck of RT, or the OI, for cover. There's enemy RT still in play. There's a VK3001, SU100Y. He manages to bounce, so we've got to go for side shots here. Have to put them into his side. And there we go. We can do 465 damage incredibly quickly to the Jarl. I think it was 465, but now we're moving up, and now he's straightened up and we're going to pen, so, or have problems penning. I missed my track shot, bounced the SU100. The M4, I don't know what the M4 is doing, but I need help. So put one shot into the SU, shoot the Jarl as he comes around the corner, reverse back into cover, steal RT. Oh, and there we go. Report this T-25 because apparently I'm a cheater. So now I'm on a reload again. SU100Y is coming in. RT takes out the M4, and I just can't win games. Just can't win games. And the VK3001P has moved back and takes me out. And yeah, another loss. So before we start with the endgame results, just a quick bit of business to get out of the way. On a recent Lorraine 15550 Ace Tanker, I said if you left a comment to talk about how you would improve RT, you'd be in with a chance of winning a Steam key, and I've already done that draw. So Lahiru Chamara, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, congratulations, you've won yourself a Steam key for Escape the Lost Kingdom, The Forgotten Pharaoh. I've sent that Steam key to you already. Check youtube.com/messages to get that Steam key. It's a game, it's a hidden object / adventure game where you've got to basically escape from inside a pyramid or a temple or something, and it's quite good. It is quite good, but it's very short, and I thought the ending sucked, but other than that, I thought it was okay. But you've won yourself a copy, as I say, to Escape the Lost Kingdom, The Forgotten Pharaoh. Congratulations, and let's get on with the video. So, another Ace Tanker on a defeat. Not so bad, considering I'm apparently a bot that needs to be reported. You gotta stop with the accusations. If you're watching this and you're one of these players who accuses other people of cheating, thanks to people putting up cheating videos on World of Tanks, now you think everyone is cheating. No, they're not. As you saw from that game, players struggle to even use the minimap, or, differentiate between red tanks and friendly tanks. I mean, if players can't do that and you're expecting them to go online, download and configure a mod that allows them to cheat, I think it's beyond them. It's beyond a lot of players to install cheats when they can't even play the game in the first place. So stop with the accusations of cheating. I mean, I've been accused of cheating by Unicums, and it's just stupid right now. It is so stupid. I mean, I'm not kidding. Every single game, it is just a joke. It really is. But yeah, as I say, Ace on a defeat, and that's just the way World of Tanks has been going recently. Thankfully, we did pick up High Caliber, which meant we picked up Courageous Resistance, which means my XP credits weren't nerfed. And as a result, it was an ace. So we finished up with 1239 XP overall, which is more XP than anyone on the winning team got. So that's okay. 2,719 damage done and 3 kills. And considering I was a tier 6 in a tier 7 game, yeah, and considering that 4 of our tanks drove straight through the middle of the map and tried to cap the enemy cap without shooting a single enemy tank, yeah, that's the way games have been going. 45 shots fired, 33 hits and 25 penetration, so the gun will get criticized. The gun will get criticized for its lack of penetration. I've been seeing a lot of forum posts saying, buff the gun, buff the gun. Whoever's posting those, or who criticizes the penetration on the Panzer T-25, or not the Panzer, the Skoda T-25, they obviously don't play a lot of tier 6 mediums, because the penetration is quite good for a tier 6 medium. Most tier 6 mediums are going to struggle against tier 8 tanks, so the penetration is just fine. It is just fine for the tank. The DPM is okay. You can get it over 1,000 DPM. The burst damage of 330 damage every 7 to 8 seconds is very good. It's very nice. It's, when you consider that, something with 120 millimeter or 122 millimeter gun is going to be doing 390 damage every shot, and you can pretty much have you're doing 330 damage, but your reload is better than 122 millimeter firing a single shot, then yeah, I think the gun is just fine. I think it's fast. I think it accelerates well. I think the view range is okay. The signal range is okay. It does have some negatives. I think the armor is terrible. The gun depression is amazing at 10 degrees. But yeah, the armor is terrible. The modules get knocked out. The ammo rack and the engine constantly get knocked out for me, sometimes both from the same shot. The traverse speed is absolutely terrible, just like it is on the premium version for the Germans, the tier 5. But, you can work around those. As I said, gun depression and gun are just fine on the tank, and I decided to keep it because I enjoyed it. it enough. So happy with the damage in that game, not happy with the result. However, my team just died too quickly, couldn't do more, and got stuck out in the middle of a field surrounded by enemy tanks, and nothing I could do about that. So 8 damaged, 3 destroyed, 581 assistance damage, and we earned 31,000 credits with a premium account. So it wasn't my first game of the day. Was playing games in this tank actually to ace it, and we managed to do it in this game on a defeat. So yep, that sucks.